The S&P 500 goes on an absolute tangent. SPY hits highs. SPX hits 5,000. You go to the Nasdaq, and again, you rip into new all-time highs as well. But the question is how is this sustainable? You know, what stocks are carrying us here, and is this going to keep happening? Also, too, is what can really start to bring us down? Is the Fed actually bearish? Are we looking at cutting rates anytime soon? Is inflation going to come back? These are real questions that you have to start to look at. There's major indicators that point to the direction, in my opinion, and show us overall where we're going. And I do believe there's this little bit of a little part of the market that no one's really looking at that's set to explode going into summer. Okay? That's what we're covering today. If you have any questions, comment down below, but let's get right into work. So number one, today we're going to start with a little bit of data, right? I want to start with some data, right? So we look at today and we look at, I try to cover this more often than not because I think data and numbers don't lie to us. Women, they lie to us on repeat, except my fiance, right? You're beautiful and you're great, Allie. Thank you for being you. But yeah, everyone else, they're all liars. Let me tell you. Yep, you know I'm talking to. Anyways, Thursday and Friday have been our best performing continuation days on the week, right? And so we got some good action today, but 36% of Fridays have been the highest close on the week for SPY, right? And you've seen this kind of trend happen over the past 2 years, roughly. Now, we also go consecutive green days, things like this as well. You know, the most green days we've had in a row on SPY are around 8. We've had a red day not too long ago. So again, things to be considering, right? And I also want to go into one more little metric here is what's happening here also. We've seen, again, Thursday and Friday have historically been green days, right? Monday's been our, most green day, obviously, almost 80% of the time. Thursday, 57, Friday, 55, right? So pointing with statistically some upside going into the end of the week. And of course, when you go to volume, this paints the biggest and the best picture. Volume always ends up being the best on Friday, typically, right? These are some big areas we're talking about. This is Edgeful. You can check them out. The link is down below. But when we go back in here and we look at some of the data here on the 4-hour, again, a lot of people didn't want to believe it, right? I posted this on Twitter. We talked about this a lot, the ascending triangle, the breakout. And, when we really look at what's happening here, and this level right here is your previous all-time high from 2021 on Nasdaq. When we posted this here, no one really wanted to believe it. They said, this is crazy. It's not an ascending triangle. It's this, it's that. Well, now we're there, and now it's, it's always another excuse for bears. They like to have a lot of excuses, right? It's like when you catch a woman in the act, dare I say, right? Or maybe catch me in the act a few times, but it doesn't matter, right? We're not pointing fingers. We look at this, and again, you break up, you get another retest here in the overnight session, you bounce again, and it's just like the same trend. You're mounting previous highs and trying to break up. It's what we always say, the break, the retest, and then continuation is what you're looking for. Now, also, too, we point down into volume, okay? Again, fantastic volume from buyers, once again, showing up at those lows. Even in the pre-market, good amount of buyers showing up at that level. So definitely things to consider here on the Nasdaq. Looks decent. ES. Now, a few things I'll say with ES, and I don't want to, get too excited here, but ES, you are very close to previous all-time highs as well, right? This is something to consider. I'm going to put that 5,000 level about right there. That's what you're watching there. Now, a lot of things here on ES. This is your previous all-time high, 50.29 from 2021. So you're really close. This is another key level from the weekly as well, 50.20. So in my opinion, what you're looking at here, if you're trying to scalp ES or SPY, you break above, break that. You're looking for a continuation immediately. I believe if you break above 50.20, it's like a straight shot into 50.29 into all-time highs. Just personal opinion. You don't want to see a break back below 5,000. So as long as you're above 5,000 on ES, I'm pretty bullish overall. So as long as you don't get that breakdown, you're fine. Now, what I will say though is this little area here, be very careful over trading. It's about a 20-point range on ES, but you can see that volatility here has basically died down. And if you were trading SPY, you probably realized it. I think today was the least volatile day that we've had in almost a year. Food for thought, consider that. So hopefully we can get some follow through to end the week, maybe get the little party started, a little, little, moussoir, dare I say. So those are things that we're looking at there. And those are things that we have to be paying very close attention to. We go into SPY, paint the picture a little bit more clearly, hold above 496 and you're bullish, the end, gazpacho. QQQ, you hold above 430, you hold above that, you're bullish, gazpacho. So that's what you're looking at specifically there. Now guys, look, I keep saying it. If you're making higher highs, you're making higher lows, by definition, it's a bull trend. It is. Again, we start from a top-down approach. So if you're on the 5-minute and you say, Tyler, what happened? How are we going up? My 3-minute trend was pointing us to downside. Well, little Timmy, I would say you work from higher time frames and you go to smaller time frames. Okay, top down, not bottom up. That would be pretty crazy. Okay, so that's what you want to look for and watch. And I can only say that so many times. Now, again, also, too, focus on the strong names if you're going long. Focus on the weak names if you're going short. Like Tesla, you can't get back above 194 yet. So it's been a little bit of a pinball action back and forth. NVIDIA makes new highs almost every day. SMCI, for some reason, it'll never stop. Microsoft pushing back into all-time highs, right? Those names continue to improve and impress over and over and over. Semiconductors, cloud names, right? CRM, CrowdStrike, we talked a lot about those, right? Continuing to mount and push. Something we always look for is a break of highs and a retest of that level. You're always going to hear me break and retest. It's not the breakout I go along on. It's the retest we like to go along on. So again, food for thought, things you have to be thinking about here when you're actively looking at the market and things that I'm actively looking at the market. I'm not trying to gatekeep by any means. Let's get back in. Let's look at some of what's happening in bonds, what's happening with what the Fed's looking at, and then we'll get to some of those equities. Okay, so really quick, let's go into DXY yields. It won't be too long. Now, first of all, everyone was freaking out. Remember beginning of the week, everyone's like, oh my God, DXY is going crazy, Tyler. We got to be bearish. Remember? I remember. Anyways, you did have the inverse head and shoulders. You broke up and now you're kind of coming back down. Now, again, to see weakness on the dollar, you want to see a break back below the 200 SMA. That's what you want to see there. Now, going into yields, this is why I wasn't panicking, because yields were not following. Again, the dollar broke out, but yields did not. Again, we look at yields, you're operating still in that same box, right? The box that we've been watching. Resistance is 4.4, and that's kind of where we're at right now. Now, again, I believe what's happening with yields in the dollar, they're rising on the idea that the market is like, I don't know what, like, I really can't believe people think that hedge funds aren't expecting rate cuts early, right? I can't believe that they expect that. Right? Hedge funds, if we look at it, shout out to Glockamatics in Discord. You're the real MVP. This is what hedge funds believe. This is actually awesome. I'm so happy he posted this. Bank of America, first cut, June. Barclays, May, June. The big boys, the ones that have been right for the past year, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Barclays, those have been the most accurate forecast over the past year, just to give you a food for thought. They said last year, the volatility index would be one of the most profitable viewpoints of the market. They said this year, be back into tech. Before that, they said oil and gas. And again, they've been right almost 3 years in a row. They continue to expect pretty realistic overall viewpoints. Now, their total, rate hike cuts are all different, but I'll say they all expect those cuts to come at the same time. Again, January 31st. You go into the next one. JP Morgan. December, they said this. In December, they said June. You go down to Morgan Stanley. November, they've been saying this. The same amount of time that we've been saying it here on the channel. So there's nothing really crazy. So the fact that yields spiked during this time doesn't really concern me, because everything that the Fed has said has been good news. Why? They said as long as inflation data continues to come out good. Inflation data comes out good, and better. That's what has been happening. Okay, whether you want to agree, don't disagree, I don't care. Go look at the data, look at the Fed saying. Next up, everything the Fed says they want to happen continues to happen, right? They just say we have no idea why growth continues to go, but we're happy. This is good. Whatever. As long as everything that the Fed wants to happen and inflation data is coming down, it's good news. Okay, so that's why you're not getting a reaction from these yields spiking. Now, if yields break out and they start going crazy, we could see an issue. But also, too, in my opinion, when those rates get cut, you're going to see yields drop below 4% quick. And when they do, the housing market is going to erupt and everyone's going to flood back into the housing market. I'm telling you right now. now. And when that happens, the market will get a really big kick, like a dose of Viagra, if you will. So today we don't have like a lot to break down when it comes to news or anything like that. Everyone keeps saying, Tyler, the bond auction. Guys, I don't care about the bond auction. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. The bond auction is like the least of my concerns. But again, when we look at this action, it continues to show you, even with the yields, it's just irrational behavior from yields. Even so with some of the dollar stuff, right? The market continues to price in strength until it has a reason not to. Earnings continue to smash. They don't continue to beat. They continue to smash on the biggest names that got us to where we're at now. If they can hold on, they can do what they're doing until rates get cut. Again, I think that's just going to put more fuel on the fire. These are things you have to be thinking about right now. You know, Powell explained what was happening with rates, what was happening with inflation, how it was cooling. He went over all of it, right? People were mad. They didn't agree, but it is what it is, right? He's the guy in charge, whether you like it or not. Okay, let's get into equities. Number one, we'll go over a fan favorite, Tesla, even though I really could care less. Now, when Tesla breaks above 194, it's probably going to be a hammer for me. Yeah, I'm going to be slamming it, right? Slamming, right? That's what I want to see, above 194. You get above that, you're cooking. You can even argue it's like down here, like at 193, give or take. But still, it's going to look really good for that gap fill into like 206. Okay, I'm just telling you right now. It's going to be pretty. So that's all I'm saying there. If you break back down below 180, it's going to be terrible. Apple. So Apple, you did break those higher lows that you're functioning at, but guess what? You still hold. Even when the market was pulling back today, Apple held up fantastic. Again, at 188, finding buyers. Again, all I'm looking for here on Apple is get above 190 and hold. Once that happens, I think you're cruising. There's nothing else to really talk about. That's what I'd be watching there. So again, just be watching that. Microsoft, we told you guys a day or two ago, above 407, it's along all of our key levels as well. Well, now you're mounting above 413, like we mentioned yesterday. I do believe in this range, you have to be patient. You get above 415, you're going long into all-time highs once again, like around 40.20 is where I kind of think this could go pretty quick. Keep your head on a swivel. Meta. Now, Meta might be one of the top names on my watch list now. I love what happened today. Pure consolidation above your level, 469, you're trying to break up. What you want to see is this. Take profit 1, 472.7. A little bit of a rejection and continuation. Once you get that, I think you're pushing into all-time highs. Now, what I will say is you could argue that you got a little bit of a supply level in this range here. You could make that argument, dare I say. So be a little bit careful, but it's very interesting. Or you could argue too that you have a little bit right here as well. So there's a little bit of an issue there. But I think Meta's gonna break through quick. I think it's very strong. I love the consolidation. This looks really good. Definitely be watching for it. If it's back below 469, you're looking for a break of around 465. If that breaks there, you're going back down to lows, and that will be catastrophic, and that will be ugly. AMD, again, for me, it is not a long until you break above 174.6. Until then, you have got to be steering clear. Again, you're getting rejected at 171. I like the name, but you just got to be careful here. You don't want to overtrade. And again, looks like you want to test that 164.4 level still. NVDA doing things that no one thought was possible. Every day it makes a new high and shocks me somehow. You're back below 700, so I don't love that, but you made a new high today of 708. If you get back above the 697, 698 level, breaking back into 700, I do like it back into highs, but just be careful here. You're seeing some slowdown right now. But again, more options are expiring in the money. It's just again and again. If it closes the week above 700, you're going to just continue running. It's just fact of the matter. So keep your head on a swivel there. Definitely liking that name. CrowdStrike, some of these cloud names. Again, like I told you guys, you mount this level right here, 307, you were going to rip. And you did just that. So congratulations if you caught that one. It's going crazy. Next one up is going to be CRM. You had the break in the amount of 288. Again, we've had this level here forever. Broke, retest, getting the break up now. What I'd be looking for now, if you're trying to scalp this, your break of 293, and you're looking for the 299, the all-time high test up there. That's your next major level to be testing and watching for. I think net beat in the after hours, so pretty interesting what's happening there as well. Okay, Amazon, definitely watching this one as well. Again, I keep saying 171. I can only say it so many times. You can't break it. You can't break back above. That's the time that I'm going long. Under 171 into this range of 167. I think it's dangerous. I just wouldn't be over trading it here right now. be careful. But once you get that, the signal, it's time to go long. It's really that simple. So those are my favorite names that I'm watching right now. Okay, I'm trying to see if there's anything else. Netflix is back below 562. Could care less about it. I've gone over most of these names, and that's what I'm watching there. There's no reason to get crazy. A lot of you guys are interested in Google. Google's just slowly moving. It's doing well. You have a gap fill, so maybe you feel it. But I think their earnings are the least impressive of most of those names. So that's just my personal opinion. So I really haven't been tracking them that much. If you have any questions, comment down below. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one, traders.